Let me back up a sec because if you'd told me, after all these years building this place from the ground up, that I'd get turned away at my own front door, I probably would have laughed in your face, or at least told you to get a better punchline. But that's exactly how this story kicks off. Victoria Thompson, standing in my best dress on a Friday night, in the restaurant I poured every bit of myself into, just wanting to enjoy the energy, the music, the work. Instead, what I got was a young hostess Madison, barely old enough to remember the old jazz standards floating through the room, giving me that ice-cold stare and saying, "Ma'am, we don't have tables for your kind of people tonight." Now, you ever have a moment so ridiculous, so loaded, the whole room just freezes? That was it. Forks midair, people stopping their conversations, heads turning like I'd set off a fire alarm. I felt the heat climb up my neck, the sting of humiliation in every inch of my skin, but deeper than that, something stronger started burning, something that wasn't going to let me walk away. I stood there, hands gripping my purse, so tight the leather squeaked, but I didn't budge. Didn't plead, didn't explode. I just held Madison's gaze and waited, knowing this wasn't about me losing my temper or causing a scene. This was about taking back my dignity. Right on cue, Robert, the manager, showed up, all puffed up, asking if there was a problem, his voice a little too loud, a little too rehearsed. "Is there a problem here?" he says, and before I could answer, Madison's already talking for me, acting like I was the inconvenience. You know what I mean? That tone people use when they want you gone, but want to look polite doing it. Yeah, that happened. The room kept getting tenser. Some folks started filming on their phones. People love a spectacle, especially when they sense trouble. Robert tells me I'm disrupting the service, that I need to leave. One woman in the corner's whispering, a guy's recording, everybody's watching to see if I'll make a scene or just slink away. I look Robert right in the eye and tell him, "Calm as you please, I'm the owner of this restaurant. Let that sink in me, house, my rules, and I'm being told I'm not welcome." Madison's face goes white. Robert's not buying it. He says, "If you're the owner, you know our policies. We have a right to refuse service." The whole place is electric, diners craning their necks, staff peeking out from the kitchen, waiting for the next shoe to drop. So I do what I've always done, speak plain truth. Your policy isn't the problem. Your prejudice is. That line was like a match to gasoline. Robert threatens to call security. I say, "Good, call security. Let's get it all out in the open." He waves Anthony over, the security guard, who looks more confused than anything. "Ma'am, can I ask your name?" he says. And I answer, "Victoria Thompson. I sign your paychecks." Dead silence. Like you could have heard a pin drop. Madison's whole posture collapses. Robert starts sweating bullets. Even Anthony shifts from wary to respectful. "Ma'am, do you want me to remove anyone?" he asks. Robert tries to save face, says, "We can handle this in the office, out of sight." But I'm done with back rooms and hush-hush conversations. This needed daylight. So I tell them, no more hiding. No more back rooms. Everyone here deserves to see how you treat people who don't fit your expectations. At that point, the diners are whispering, some are live streaming, people can sense something bigger happening. I look around, catch the eye of a young server, Sarah, standing with her tray, half-raised, steps forward, voice shaking, and says, "It's happened to me too. Not just guests, staff too." Suddenly, the floodgates open, a few nod, some look away in shame, and for the first time, the problem's got a name. Robert's getting desperate, trying to shut it all down, insisting this isn't the place. But I shut him down. This is exactly the place. This is my house. These are my people. I pull out my phone, dial the office, and put Marcus, head of HR, on speaker for the whole room to hear. "Marcus, I need the employee records for Robert Williams and Madison Davis." You could feel every head in the place turn, waiting for the verdict. Marcus is barely on the line before the board chairman breaks, and social media's already blowing up. We're trending, the pressure's on. The chairman asks what's happening. "Your flagship's facing a discrimination scandal," I say, not blinking. "I want full authorization to conduct an audit." The chairman, now very awake, tells me I have it. Marcus reads out the records. Robert, incomplete anti-discrimination training, 3 formal complaints in a year. Madison, failed training, 2 warnings for refusing service. There's a collective gasp, and Robert, voice cracking, tries to plead, "My son's sick. I just needed this job." And yeah, for a split second, I feel that old ache because we'd helped him through that, paid his bills from our hardship fund, but that trust was used to hurt people, not help them. Madison's crying, says she was just following Robert's lead. I tell them, gently but firmly, "You're both responsible. This isn't about one night. It's about every guest you made feel small." The board chairman asks for my recommendation. I look around at the faces of my staff, my diners, my legacy. Immediate termination for anyone found guilty of discrimination. No evidence, nada. Let the truth stand. The words land hard. Robert slumps, defeated. Madison sobs. I turn to the rest of the staff. This is a turning point. If you want to stay, you commit to respect, to change. A voice calls out from the back. We want better. We want a place where everyone belongs. And I smile for the first time all night. Then you're part of the solution. The board chairman, still on the line, tells me my protocols will become company policy not just here, but everywhere. For the first time, my shoulders loosen. I turn to the diners, the cameras, the folks who just witnessed something real. From this day forward, this restaurant stands for justice, for dignity, for every person who's ever been turned away. Reporters flood, news breaks out, and there's no hiding. I step into the light, not angry, not bitter, but proud. In the weeks that follow, our story sweeps the city. The Thompson standard becomes a beacon, staff morale goes up, customer complaints vanish, and most importantly, discrimination stops. Robert faces consequences alone, jobless, his story public, but eventually he finds counseling, maybe even a bit of clarity. Madison starts volunteering for an advocacy group, working to make it right. And me? I become a symbol, not because I wanted revenge, but because I wanted better for everyone. The real lesson is simple: respect is non-negotiable. Justice takes guts. Change starts when one person says, "Enough." The vibe in the restaurant shifts. Staff gather, not in fear, but in hope. New conversations about fairness and respect echo through the mornings. Guests notice. 2 smiles last longer. The air's lighter. People who once felt invisible now feel seen. Sometimes I pause in the doorway, watch the life pulse through the space I rebuilt from the ashes of humiliation. And yeah, that pain still lingers, but it's overtaken by pride in what we built together. One afternoon, I spot Robert across the street, head down, but when our eyes meet, he nods, grateful. Madison returns, this time as a guest, tipping well, leaving with a soft thank you. Anthony, now head of security, leads staff meetings with purpose. My own heart changes, too, because I finally see the power of my voice, not just for me, but for everyone. I didn't just rebuild a restaurant, I set a new standard. So let this be proof real change starts the moment we speak out. If this story meant something to you, share it, drop a comment, tell us where you stand. Your voice matters. Help us keep these stories alive because justice is everyone's business, and it starts right here, right now.